Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors, only today it's not stereos, it's cameras. I've got stereos to work on, but I'm just taking a few days off from them. I want to catch up on my photography. And you might wonder, okay, what's he going to talk about? Well, these are actually my favorite cameras, film cameras. Starts way back. This is the same model as the one I'm going to tell you about, but not the same one. Back in, I was 11 years old, coming home from the school bus stop, and one of the neighbors that had just recently passed away, his family had gone and put a whole bunch of stuff at the curb, including his photography stuff. And one of these cameras, a #1 pocket autographic Kodak. These are kind of neat. This one's actually in better shape. The one that I had really seen better days. I'm just going to unfold it, being careful here. There it is. Put a little stand on it. And this one really caught my interest. They were developing tanks, trays for doing the prints, and a Durst 606 enlarger, which wasn't that old. It was from the early 60s, but this camera is from the 20s, late 20s. And this one actually works really good. Shutter's good. Bells are nice. It takes 120 film, which was still widely available back then, and is now, of course, on a major comeback. The autographic film, you would flip this little lid down, and there's an autographic pencil, and you could write on the back of the film, and it would show up on the print. It was kind of neat. I took quite a few pictures with that. I did a end of the school year presentation about photography. It was a project of mine, and I took a picture of my class with that camera just on bulb. So everybody lined up, I took a picture, held it down for a second or two, and then brought it back the next day printed, which was kind of neat. They're like, wow. And I said, yeah, I just did that in our cold cellar. And I like the camera, but it's not the fastest thing to work with, and they have light leaks and everything, but I like the, I don't know, this one. I saw this one recently. I thought, that's like the #1 pocket Kodak I had. So I bought it, and nobody could figure out how to get it open. And I was just like, click, 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 whoop. Well, about 2 years later, I ended up getting one of these for my birthday. This isn't the one either. It's not around. Praktica MTL. And it's same lenses on the one I had, Pentax Auto 1.850. Mine actually, the one I had a fall and was damaged, never the same again. This one's in really nice shape. I'm not going to fire the shutter because there's film and I'm halfway through a roll of Ilford Delta 100. Which is good film for this. Light meter still works. Battery goes right there. Oh, it's a little loose. Anyway, I've run some film through this one. It runs really good. Prakticas are still pretty easy to find, and most of them work. I really like that camera. And I think I've been through maybe 20 of them since. And the original one, like I say, was damaged. I used it for parts on a couple of other ones. So, then my dad had this exact camera, Pentax Spotmatic. These were really built nicely. These are a work of art. This might be the ultimate camera, ultimate manual focus, manual exposure camera with a light meter. And this one has the Super Takamar 1.450 lens, which I think is their best 50mm lens they ever made. And I actually, there's an amber hue on this one because of the thorium in the glass. So I used the LED trick, put it, used an ultraviolet LED lamp and had it exposed for 3 days, and it cleared up very nicely. Turns nicely, fires nicely. I used to use my dad's camera quite a bit before I got this one. So I learned on this, but I ended up getting that one. And you know what? Some people say, oh, the Pentax is far better. I like both of them. They're both solid, heavy cameras. You know why they survive? Because they don't have a lot of electronics on a very simple light meter circuit. And they used to take mercury batteries. You can now use alkaline batteries in them or silver oxide. And it's a bridge type of circuit for the light meter. So they will still show correctly. This one does not have a hot shoe in the top. It has a bracket that bolts in down here. Then you put the flash over here. I should have showed you some of the flashes. I'm going to put this over here so you can see it. This one I just got very recently. And it's a K1000, which is very similar. It was like the new and improved Spotmatic. This has a 2.050mm lens, so it's not quite as good a lens. But you know what? In most situations, you are not going to see the differences. And this is a Japanese K1000, so it's heavy, has the metal top. The later ones that were not Japanese, I believe they were built in Malaysia or Korea, they had plastic and they weren't quite as heavy duty, but they still worked really well. And like this one is just like, fires so nice. This thing is very, very minty. Is that a good way to put it? Oh, fires really nice. I haven't run any film through this one yet. And there's a few differences between it and the Pentax Spotmatic. This Spotmatic, of course, is thread-mounted lenses. And this is K-mount. This has the hot shoe. The light meter is turned on with the switch here. Here it's taking the cap off. Other than that, they're very, very similar cameras. And this is kind of like, it's funny, maybe this is just a thing that you go through, but the stuff you did when you're younger, you tend to repeat it when you get older. But that doesn't mean I don't use, people say, oh, you're into the old cameras, you should learn digital. I know it's hard at your age. And then I say, I've had a digital camera since 2005. Owned several Nikons. I use them proficiently. There's a lot of that. Actually, I could go on about that. Older people don't understand technology. And all I can say about that is, who do you think built the stuff? Who do you think went through the big transition from this to digital? It's not about what age you are, what generation you're from. It's about the photography. And I know there's people that in their 20s that shoot with these. Shoot with box cameras with film in them. There's a lot. This K1000, I think, is the most popular manual camera along with the Spotmatic. It's really something. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some favorite cameras until I get started on another electronics project next week. Thanks for watching and listening.